Hello, hello. I am back to help you do this thing called life. So, I want you to keep praying for me, and I'm going to keep praying for you. And we are going to watch God change things. I talked to you yesterday about, and I said that there were a few different things that had kind of been mulling around in my spirit. And so today, I want to talk to you. I mentioned over the past few days, I've talked about off and on. I may have mentioned seasons or cycles just inadvertently, just in the midst of conversation. But I was thinking about seasons and cycles the other day and just thinking about how they're necessary. You know, a lot of times there's this negative uh, attachment to the word, oh my goodness, this season has come. And some of you may not even use the term in this way, but I know for me, a lot of times I'll feel like, oh no, this cycle has come around again, or this season has come around again. And a lot of times I associate it with test. It may be a season of testing in a particular area uh, of my life, in an emotional season. Sometimes it's physical. Sometimes there are things that attack us or attach themselves to us in seasons or cycles. And so it's really good if you can get to know when your season is, know when that cycle comes around. Um, it may be rather graphic, but even like with a young lady, she young ladies have cycles, and it's in their best interest to get it down pat on the calendar, to know when it's coming, so that they're not caught off guard, so that they're not caught unaware. Well, I submit to you that it'd be good for you to do the same thing in regards to the seasons of your life. If there are times when, okay, and I'm trying to make it practical and help you understand. So if you're prone to be lonely, sorry, if you're prone to be lonely around the holidays, you know that the holidays are coming. So make make sure that you have plans that will, kind of take the sting out of that thing. If you know that you get depressed around certain times, certain holidays, certain birthdays, then make sure that you have things in place. So, I was talking, I think it was yesterday, I don't know. One of these days, I was saying something about when I used to suffer from depression and I could feel it coming. It would almost be like you could sense this thing coming way, 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 way back, but I could feel it like walking up on me. And it made me know, okay, you got to change something. So that's kind of what I'm telling you to do. And then sometimes the season just really catches you off guard. But when it hits, know, like, have a plan. Have a plan, okay? But I want to let you know too that all those seasons and cycles are necessary. They're not always bad. It allows for growth. It's like it facilitates um, growth and death, because there are some things that need to come to an end. And I'm not talking about, okay, sometimes growth comes about painfully. Sometimes there are growing pains. Things have to happen. And although it's painful, you grow from it, you learn from it, you gain wisdom from it, right? Well, then even in those cycles, there are times when a death takes place. Maybe a death to a relationship, a job, whatever. So often we look at death as a robber, but often death is how do I put it? Death brings about an opportunity for newness, for a new birth of sorts. And I'm not saying it's always easy, but even childbirth itself is not easy. But if we can find a way to step into the new place, then I know that there is something there for us. So don't get caught up in the death of the thing. Once that death has taken place, you have to continue to move forward. And as you move forward, it facilitates an area of birth. And I hope it makes sense. So if some things you think about, winter, spring, summer, fall, okay, you think about the seasons. There are things that happen in each of those seasons, and it kind of facilitates the way, it paves the way for the next season, and they're all needed. They're all needed. And it's the same way in our lives. Each, there was a time when you were a child, then you were a youth, then a young adult, then an older adult. And each thing has, oh, it's so hard to make this make sense, but each area has things that are attached to it, things that are necessary, but things that need to die. Springtime, we think of growth, we think of the beauty. Even within that season, there we say April showers bring May flowers. And so even within a season, there are things that will happen. Then you have the summer when everything is just, it seems ripe. Everything is out there. You think of vacations, you think of all this. Then there's the fall when things begin to die off. And then in winter, it's almost like everything is dormant. It's almost like a resting period. But y'all, it's needed. And I want to let you know that there are some relationships, some jobs, some responsibilities that had to die, that had to go away. Because then if you stayed in those, others would never have been birthed. They would never flourish. They would never grow. Okay, so there comes a time when, and it's not always bad, when even the good stuff has to die off so that greater stuff can come into your life. And so I guess the takeaways from this, try to learn your seasons. Sit down and think about what are some of the major things that come around ever so often in your life. And then a lot of times we can actually pinpoint months or weeks that it normally happens. You just have to learn to know yourself. Know those cycles, know those seasons. And then even if you can't pinpoint the dates, then at least try to figure out a course of action. When you feel it coming, what are you going to do? Are you going to reach out to a loved one and say, look, hey, I feel this thing come back. I need you to pray for me. Or can we make sure we make time for each other because I really need to be occupied during this time? Just have a plan in place. And then don't fight it. Even if it's okay. So let's say, I know some people, seasons hit and they get ready to wild out, right? Don't wild out. But you're going to have to know yourself and kind of, I don't want to say grab it. Like if it's something negative, don't fulfill it, but like acknowledge it, because that's the thing. If you don't acknowledge it, oh, it's still going to be there. It's still going to be there and it still might win. But if you can acknowledge it and then develop your response, and I guess that's it too. Like create a response for it. Don't just be all like whatever and just let it sweep you off your feet and take you wherever it's going to take you and land you wherever. Develop a response. Be thoughtful about it. And then like just learn yourself. Even the tests that are built into the seasons, during those tests, my pastor always says the test shows you where you are and where you're not. So when those times come, you have to figure out, okay, am I good in this area? Did I win it, or did I was it an epic fail? And then you learn from what has happened so that when the season or cycle comes around, because I can assure you, until the day you die, there are certain cycles, certain seasons that will come around. And some may come around quickly, and some, like I said, I think yesterday, some may not manifest for years. But whatever it is that the enemy has, whatever that data is that he has against you, you better believe that he's going to use it. But you better believe that you can win. Okay? Lord, I hope this hasn't sound like rambling, because in my head, I really know, and in my head, I've needed to tell you. And so my prayer is that whoever this is for, whenever you're seeing this, that you can grab it and grab enough of what I'm saying so that you can meditate on it and be able to cipher it out for yourself and see what it looks like in your life and figure out how to navigate those times so that you can win. Okay? Well, y'all, this has been One More Minute with Marcy. I'll be back tomorrow with another moment of momentum producing motivation. Until then, stay encouraged. And remember, you gotta flutter before you can fly. But flying is in your future. I love y'all.